Muse. Matthew Bellamy. He has emerged from his kitchen and he has cooked us something. And let's see if this tastes any fucking good. Now, I'm going to be a bit of a yapper about this because I have a bit of a complicated history with Muse. It's been like they were like a high school band for me. Probably like the first rock band that I actually ever really got into. They're pretty great. New album, The Wow Signal. So far, I mean, obviously things are really, really early on. The singles have been pretty decent. And so I thought it'd actually be worth recording my thoughts as I actually experience this new Muse album. So first of all, though, I want to run through like my history of Muse and where I think like things got a little bit rickety, because I think everyone has an opinion on this and it'll be fun to go through. Obviously starting things off with Showbiz. Showbiz is very solid. I think they were awfully young when this came out. Matt, Chris, and I can't remember what the bassist's name is. Matt, Chris on bass, Dom on the drums. That's right, yeah. Just those three dudes, and they make a hell of a lot of noise. And Showbiz was definitely quite... I don't know if it was much of a shake-up back then, but it was definitely like really noisy, distorted, imperfect. Really just sounded like three teenagers making a hell of a lot of noise. It kind of reminds me of a lot of early Silverchair. But with Muse, there was like a... Obviously, with Silverchair was great as well and everything, but like the particular thing that Muse had going for it, it definitely seemed like, hang on, there's a little something more here to play with. It's kind of like Green Day with their first album, Kaplunk. You know, they sounded a bit too garagey, and while punk is very much like that, Green Day really came into their own commercially and artistically with Dookie and stuff like that. That just kind of high-powered production, I think, really, really started to work for them. And this, like Kerplunk was for Green Day, Showbiz was definitely a precursor to what Muse was to be. Obviously, I think the highlight here is Showbiz, the title track. Muscle Museum is great. Sunburn. Ultimately, I gave it 3.5 out of 5 here on Rate Your Music. I wish I could do it out of 10, but I guess the half stars are enough of a shoo-in for that. Yeah, so I gave it like a 7 out of 10. Solid album. Origin of Symmetry. Now, right off the bat, I don't know why I gave this an 8. I'd honestly give this a 9. Maybe I should listen to it again. I don't know, but like this was obviously the big explosion for Muse conceptually, artistically. I don't mean to beat the American Psycho meme dead horse, but like it's true. Fantastic album all round. It's not a 10 out of 10 or anything. Like I don't want to... I barely give anything a 10 out of 10 these days, but like for me to give it a 9, it's like everything from Newborn Bliss, Space Dementia, Hyper Music, Plug-in Baby, obviously, I think is my highlight. That and Microcuts, I think I like both of those just as much as each other. Citizen Erased, Screenager, Dark Shines, where I think it does taper off. What kind of prevents it from being that perfect 10 out of 10 for me is that I feel like that the feeling good, I'm not really feeling good on it. It's a nice cover, but I feel like it doesn't fit with the album and is a bit much of a tonal shift. I think that's kind of what drags me down from it as well. That, and I feel like Screenager and Dark Shines are not the strongest. They're the most forgettable songs for me on the album. Not to say that they are forgettable, but compared to the first 2/3 of the album, I mean, yeah, it is a bit of a drop off. That being said, not much of one. Still lands at a 9 for me. It's in my opinion, it's peak Muse. Plus, I'm a big fan of the color orange. Absolution is definitely going into the era of Muse that I first became familiar with. I really appreciate Muse for how they're able to craft an album experience. I think if there's a reason why I'm an album listener more than anything else, honestly, I think I have Muse to thank for that. After that, probably for, I don't know, Pink Floyd, Absolution is quite the adventure. They definitely seem to get a bit more commercial from this point on. Not that that's a bad thing. I think it works for them. A lot of the just feel like in the performance, in the delivery of it, Absolution is where Muse really starts to hone in to that theatricalness of their sound. And yeah, big fan of that one. Definitely an 8 out of 10. Great album. I just feel like there's a little bit more that's uninteresting in this album, which kind of bumps it down for me. But yeah, again, this is in Muse's peak era, and so was Black Holes and Revelations. This was my first Muse album that I ever listened to all the way through. I think I had the CD for this one. Another great album from them. City of Delusion, Knights of Sidonia, Map of the Problematic. Yeah, I mean, what are the more like... I don't know. I don't really have anything too bad to say about this album. It's just like, as far as the highs of Origin of Symmetry go, that's really what I have to compare it to. And yeah, it just doesn't really have the highs that Origin of Symmetry does, you know. But it is an overall very consistent album. Can definitely recommend this one as well. And now for the Resistance. I know it's a lower rating than I gave Origin of Symmetry. There goes my watch. On a spiritual level, I like this album as much as I do Origin of Symmetry. While my enjoyment of it is pretty much on par, there are like some little bits here and there that just that kind of prevent me from actually liking it as much. This is the point as well where a lot of people start to fall off with Muse. I really liked this vision personally. I think it worked really well for them. For me, it works. I think I might be in a minority here, but yeah, as far as I know, what people think about Resistance is the Resistance rather is that this the beginning of the fall off. Where I would agree the fall off starts to happen is with the second law. As you can see, Muse's first middling score, and honestly, that's quite a sharp drop off. There's a lot in this album that does hit as well, just not enough, I'm afraid. I think there's also a lot of cringe in this album as well because, this came out 2012? Yeah. And that was right in the middle of the whole, you know, Skrillex was having his moment in the mainstream, and with that came dubstep. And yeah, I think quite a few people tried to jump on that bandwagon, and it just did not work whatsoever, Muse included. The second law really suffers from that failed bandwagon thing, though that's more what I can say for one of the albums that come after this one, where they were just late to the bandwagon and were also bad with it, but that's another story there. We'll get to that very, very soon. What does hold up this album for me are tracks like Madness, also Prelude and Survival are amazing. Honestly, it sounds perfect, like with Resistance as well. It sounds like a holdover from that. They just turned it up to 11 and they put it in drop A, and it sounds amazing. Yeah. But then again, I think the general trend with this album is that there's like bad track, then good track, followed by bad track, followed by good track, followed by bad track, followed by cringe track. But yeah, honestly, there is some peak Muse in here. Animals is also a really good track. I really like that. Isolated System, though, I really enjoy that one. There's definitely some underrated qualities of the second law here, and a lot of people definitely try to defend this album and give it, you know, a bit more merit, saying that it's overhated. I think that it is hated a correct amount. I mean, like, if you just listen to Unsustainable, while there is an element of that is likable, Matt Bellamy essentially creates dubstep only with guitars. I think that is a cool thing, but it just doesn't work, in my opinion. It doesn't work. It's bad. It honestly sounds quite cringe. It's yeah, this is Muse's big misstep, and the first in line to them not having the source anymore. So yeah, I think during the second law's production, they just seem to have lost the source, and I think that I want to bring that to the main theme of the video. Drones, a bit middling for me, slightly on the positive side, a 6 out of 10, but a lot of it Psycho sounds like a fucking Ford F-150 advertisement. A lot of it was just very uninteresting, very just in one ear, out the other. There's really not much that I can say about this other than the highlights, which are, for me, Reapers, The Globalist, and I really like Drones, like just the outro of Matt essentially sings as if he's in like a Gregorian choir about drones killing people. I think that it kind of works for me a little bit. Honestly, I probably should give this one a re-listen. As far as all of the Muse albums go, I haven't listened to this one in the longest time. Same with Simulation Theory. I think I'm just going to breeze over this one. This one was, I remember when I did hear it, it was just very, very uninteresting. This is the album that I was talking about that was late to the bandwagon of like that whole vaporwave aesthetic. And, you know, I don't think if something's trendy, you don't have to be on time. Like, I get that. And I probably shouldn't knock it as much just on that basis. But like the vaporwave thing, at least in the slice of the internet that I was in, it was everywhere. And I got really tired of it. And then Muse comes along with a new album. Whoa, big surprise. It's got a vaporwave aesthetic, but it's a bit musy, and it's like, okay, I don't know. Like the hype wasn't very big for me, and so I just thought, yeah, whatever. Let's give it a listen. And I don't think I remember anything from this album. Okay, no, I remember Dig Down, because that was just the single that I played a lot. Yeah, Thought Contagion, The Void. Yeah, honestly, I don't really remember much. And Dig Down, I remember a lot of people were saying, oh, this is just madness. I don't know. I don't think it's like derivative of it. But again, it's like the source isn't there. And that's the main problem. And nothing could prepare me for how shit things got than with The Will of the People. I can't think of any other time that a band has fumbled an opportunity as much as Muse has with Will of the People, because especially in the political landscape of the time, a lot of people were, you know, still experiencing the like COVID fatigue, and I was keeping up a lot with what was going on in the US, and also the obviously the political turmoil that Muse would have been more familiar with in the UK. It's just like a lot of stuff, just a lot of things just started to get real messy. I think it's a real shame, because I think I maybe have overhyped myself a little bit of this album as well, because I just thought that the land here, it was ripe with opportunity of things to like make fun of things to just, I don't know, satirize the era. Instead, they came out with their most nothing album to date. The Will of the People, Compliance. Compliance is really corny, and it almost works. Really, the only thing from this album that I enjoyed was Won't Stand Down. As generic as it was, I enjoyed the production. I did enjoy the production. I think that's what held that up more than anything. We Are Fucking Fucked. Yeah. No shit, Matthew. So now we come to the wow signal, and from what people tell me, people being random articles on the internet, is that the hype for this album is actually quite real. And so I'm not going to be too overhyped about this. You know, I'm going to go in with a level of cautiousness here. I have enjoyed the singles so far. What were the singles? There's Cryogen, Hexagons, Night Shift Superstar. I thought Be With You worked, honestly. I thought it was quite nice. Have I mellowed out on it? I don't know. I guess I'll find out. I haven't really listened to it in like a week or so. I was just kind of saving myself for this listen. Cryogen I have had on repeat because I've actually have been enjoying Cryogen quite a bit. Hexagons is also good. I think, like, wow, finally they're doing something a little bit more interesting and unique this time around with their guitars and stuff like that. Again, I haven't listened to it much. I don't really have much of an opinion yet. But, you know, judging by what has come before, this has been the most promising Muse has been in a minute. So I think without further ado, we should give it a listen. I'm just trying really hard not to say wow. Like, you know, because I almost don't want to believe it that I enjoyed it that much. That's, yeah. Okay, let's go through it. Let's go through it. I wrote some notes down, some very, very quick notes, just to, because, I don't know, I get lost in track lists and stuff, and so I just need a quick reminder of where things are. Okay, so the Dark Forest. This is a good intro. I think it did a really good job to set the stage. It definitely pulled me in. Like with the last few albums, there wasn't really much substance outside of the singles, really. It's just like, it's just as if the singles existed to be on the radio and then they'd fuck off, you know. The amount that I enjoyed the Dark Forest, it definitely made me think that there's something here. Night Shift Superstar, as far as the singles go, this one was my least favorite. Not to say I didn't enjoy it or anything. This one was good. It's fun. What did I write here? It's not much of a follow-up to the first track. I thought the first track was just immense. It felt like it had that same grandioseness that good Muse had. Really, like, the only other time that I can think off the top of my head that Muse did anything like really grand. What am I trying to say here? I think back to Drones, as in like The Globalist, and while I enjoy that song as a 10-minute opus, I felt like, you know, I don't love it. I think that there was something a little bit like there was something very restrained about it. There was something very just, it's like it enjoys the concept that it's embarking on, but it doesn't like it feels like it's a little bit too scared to just kind of go further with it. And I felt like what the Dark Forest did as far as to set the stage was, yeah, it was just very grand. I really liked it. I think it really leaned into it. That being said, though, I think Night Shift Superstar, as much as I think it's a fun song, I think was a little bit of a weak follow-up. I was expecting something like a little bit. I just think that Night Shift Superstar was a bit of a weaker song, and doesn't really do much for it. It's fun, and I really like, though, how Chris shines on the bass here. I think he needs more of the spotlight. I think he's a good bassist, and if Hysteria is anything to go by, he needs more time in the spotlight, and I'm glad that Night Shift Superstar gave him that opportunity. Shimmering Scars. I think Shimmering Scars, is my least favorite track, mostly because I just don't really remember much from it. I think, like, I don't remember disliking it. No, I didn't dislike it or anything. It was just kind of like, you know, in one ear, out the other. And, you know, at this point, I was kind of like starting to lose interest as far as like my hope for the rest of the album. But you know what? Thank God they got that one out of the way early, because up next is Cryogen, and yeah, this one's like really cool. This one's real good. I used to think like, oh, in my jaded sense, that like, oh, Cryogen's just a derivative of Plug-in Baby, and like, okay, it has a similar arpeggiated intro and stuff like that. That sounds like it's classical music or something like that. It has that sort of feel to it, and really like heavy sound that just kind of bursts in. But you know, the more I listen to Cryogen, the more I can set it apart from Plug-in Baby. And while Plug-in Baby is definitely a highlight in Muse's entire discography, I think Cryogen does enough to set itself apart. I like the production. The music video is fun. It's like I saw this one comment on the music video where somebody was talking about how they look like they're on a backdrop of like a fighting game from the 2000s or something like that. And I felt like that was really starting to feel like it was part of that back to basics kind of approach. Like just big step up from Shimmering Scars and a good step up from Night Shift Superstar. So far, like this and Dark Forest, like, okay, we're 2 for 4, let's say, if we really want to be strict about it, I guess. Be With You, I like it. Is it a little generic? Yeah, but they sell it. It's I don't know. Muse has never been a stranger to generic song structures. But the approach this time just works. I haven't felt like this about a Muse ballad since Madness. Yeah, I think it worked. The organs sounded great. I don't know how else to describe it other than it just feels very back to basics and taking what was good before and making it fresh. I think this is definitely another highlight for me. And honestly, so is Hexagons. That it really, really leans into that spaciness. It's like, oh, now for the second half of the album, we're going to get real. Like we're going to get a bit more. We're going to return to space, of course, like after the Dark Forest. What did I write down for this one? I didn't write much. Good. I like the arpeggio. There isn't too much to it other than the technicality of it. Again, I think they pull it off. There's nothing that feels like is being held back like it would have in the past. I think they're really taking a moment to let themselves shine again. And that's what I have to say about that one. The Sickness and You and I. Now the way that the track's seamless. What's the word I'm thinking of? The transitions. The transition was smooth. This one was really, really fun. Yeah, I thought the transition was really, really fun, and the way that it just kind of jumps into it, again, really, really works. Like, on paper, it's cheesy as hell, just the whole way through. But again, it's like an unapologetic cheesiness that I can't stress enough. It just works. And also, what was really unique about this one is that this is the first time a Muse song actually made me laugh. Not out of cringe though, but I actually thought was funny. There's this one bit where there's like a pop in it. Oh, it just caught me so off guard, but it was actually really funny. Yeah, this one was really fun and unexpectedly funny. Unraveling, again, very fun. I think this one had a really good mix of like electro and heavy rock. Really, really enjoying the theme so far. They really just kind of back to back keep the interest going. They change it up. The lyricism is as Matt Bellamy as it gets, but it's not. I didn't cringe at anything, which is refreshing. and whatever would have been cringe in the past, again, he sells it. Yeah, the electro, the heavy guitar. Apparently here it says, first time Matt Bellamy has used an 8-string guitar in a song. And it definitely comes across. It is tuned low. Would an 8-string guitar be like what gent players use? I don't know. I don't listen to gent, but I wouldn't feel comfortable describing this as genty. But actually, I think gent is like more like 9-string, something like that. Yeah, that's an 8-string. Yeah, and I guess, I don't know, you can classify the new Doom games soundtrack as a bit genty at times. Like, if not, obviously, like, it's more industrial, I guess. But the tuning, like, that's an overlap with gent, I guess. I think that I was kind of reminded of a little bit of that. Speaking of things that it reminded me on, I actually wanted to go back to the Dark Forest real quick. The ending of that really reminded me of Ghost. What's the Ghost song? Year Zero. It had a bit of a Year Zero-ness to it. Going back to, After Unraveling is Hush, featuring Ellie Goulding. I don't really know much about Ellie Goulding. Love Me Like You Do. Oh, okay, right. Okay, yeah, I mean, I've definitely heard her stuff. The way this kind of blends with the previous track and all of that, it works very seamlessly. At this point, this track and the last one, the themes of love that they evoke especially with this one and the one afterwards. I guess it started to become apparent to me that was a bit more of a running theme this time around, I guess, but this time it was with a love that starts to fall apart in all the chaos of what's going on with the central themes of the album. It's like two people have been torn apart or something like that. And I do like the more storied approach that they've considered this time. It's not just empty platitudes. There's a connecting. There's a tether that connects all of it, and it's more than just the theme, but it's I guess two people within it. And I guess that looking back at songs like "Be With You," stuff like that, "Cryogen," it's like a feeling of a fixation on certain people, or I don't know how to describe it, but there's definitely an overarching story that connects all of this. And I'm really bad at passing. If there's a story being told over the course of a concept album or something like that, I'm really bad at seeing that sort of thing. But I can notice it here. I appreciate how that helps tie things all together. It definitely becomes apparent with the last track, Space Debris, as the drugs invade like space debris. I'm not what she craved. Orbit slow as her soul decays like space debris. She'll drift away. All these celestial bodies, how they represent people as well, and I feel like I caught on to something here at the very least, which is nice. I think that definitely speaks to a stronger intention all around with the overall vision. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Muse has found the source. It was somewhere in the kitchen. They found it for this lovely soup that they've cooked up. I don't know what else to say. I mean, yeah. Favorite tracks? Oh man, honestly, it's a little bit I can't believe I actually am having a bit of trouble picking a favorite. Really, the only ones that I can say that I am not that big on is Night Shift Superstar and Shimmering Scars. I think time will tell with how I truly feel about this album, but I think it's nice to finally have a little bit of hype again about Muse, and it actually paying off. I'm really trying to think if it's just me being... I mean, look, we'll see with subsequent listens, but the way I felt last time with The Will of the People, man, it was just the most in one ear, out the other experience. And then the cringe on top of that, it just wasn't really listenable for me. But this is a really, really cool return to form. Muse has indeed found the source.